Yeah.
And yeah, I was driving through my local town, and literally a small amount of smoke came out the center of one of the vents. And then, so I
But no,
pulled
sorry,
up.
Alex, let's just pause for a second there. So, like, tell us a little bit about the car. Like, it was in fairly good shape. Like, it wasn't rough. It performed well. Didn't give you any bother. Um,
No, it's just
yeah.
like it's a 10 plate,
Mm.
2010 plate L322, 4.4 V8, all black interior, just black everything. I quite like black stealth cars and love driving it. Like there's nothing else like it, was a like
No.
I was on the fence about getting one of these cars, and then when you get one, you like there isn't any other option now.
Well, eventually, I was like, Alex, you just need to send money to this man.
Yeah, that was legit,
That's
wasn't it? So I didn't really negotiate anything. Peter did it all for me. Mm. So yeah, absolutely love the car. But then disaster struck when I was
right.
driving through the center of my town, and I noticed a little tiny bit of smoke coming out of the center of one of the vents. And the smoke had a very distinctive smell about it. And it's probably similar to that of like if you smell a fuse burning or
Yeah.
blown out. And I was like, that's a bit strange. So I pulled over literally outside my old house.
Now, what were you expecting at this point? Were you just expecting just a little something?
I
Or did
was pulling over outside my house to go get a package, and a little bit of smoke come out the vent, and I was a bit confused as to what it was. So I left the engine running for about 10 seconds, and then another bit of smoke came out the vent. So then I was a bit like, okay, this isn't right. So as this smoke started like not pouring out, but it was quite big, thick clouds of smoke coming out the vent, and I
Okay.
was still in the car. I was starting to panic, thinking, right, I need to rip the center of this dash open to figure out what's going on here.
This is serious. Like,
Yeah, so I tried to tear the center of the dash open on the Range Rover to try and get to whatever was going on. Engine was still on, and then as I was doing that, so my focus was like the center of the car as I was sat in the driver's seat. There was like this. I saw out the corner of my eye this like molten fire dripping onto the
oh,
pedals.
flip.
So I was then like,
Shit.
oh shit, like something is melting here. Like something has happened underneath the steering column. So I was like, I don't even know what's happened. So I turned the engine off, opened the bonnet, got out, ran around, popped the bonnet, and then there was a small fire at the back, right at the back of the engine bay. Nothing major, but I could see a flame. And at that point, it was like too much for me to even figure out what to do or to try and put it out. Like it was almost like internally in the car. I couldn't do anything. So I pretty much just stood there and watched it burn. And I wonder if I can show a video. I can probably send you these videos
Yeah,
anyway.
send them. I'll definitely put them on. Like, but just to
Yeah.
bear in mind, folks, like
Play, play,
Alex
it,
was.
play it over the screen. Play the video over the screen now that I'll send you of the car burning.
So literally, just to remind you, folks, like Alex had rang me and said, Peter, I'm just going down to the post office to post you something because he was posting something over to me, and then like I was in the middle of a call and I basically seen this missed call from Alex and thought that's strange, but nothing too serious, and I get this video like 2 seconds later, and I was like, right, interesting that.
Yeah. So yeah, so pretty much the car start. I by this point the car was like um on fire. The flames were getting massive, and there was a couple of people watching. So I phoned 999 as soon as possible, and there is a fire station in the town I was in. So at this point, there was people starting to gather around and watch, and I was like, my car's on fire. I literally don't know what to do. So we just stood there and left it. And then there was also an office building as well with massive glass windows right next to this, and there was about 40 or 50 people stood at the window watching this. It was so funny. And then this guy came out of a house, he sprinted towards the car with this 20-year-old fire extinguisher, this brown rusty fire extinguisher, like a superhero, like going to save someone. And this fire on this car was massive, right? And I was like, what is he doing? And he opened the fire extinguisher and trying to put the flames out. At this point, the actual car was on fire. So like the
There was
the
no point.
steering wheel was set on fire. A lot of the engine was already in orange flames, and he ran over like there was nothing wrong. Tried to put this fire out, and it did literally nothing. He may as well have like sprayed silly string on the fire because it did nothing. So he then obviously once that hadn't done anything, he just retreated back and just watched. But there was like, I mean, I was thinking the car I had was diesel and it was full of diesel, like 80 liters of diesel or something in it. Or maybe not 80, maybe half a tank, but still a lot. And I was thinking, Christ, if that was a petrol car, like even 40 liters of petrol and the vapors, that would have done some serious damage to whatever around it. So anyway, the fire truck turned up and they tried to put it out. All the airbags started blowing up. The battery blew up, like massive bangs, cracks. Like the doors started melting off. The steering wheel was all melted. Everything was melting. The indicator was still flashing, which was so funny.
Great wiring.
I'll send you the picture. There's a picture. I just need to look at it now to remind myself. But literally, there's a picture of this car on fire, and there's one of the indicators just flashing. I hope you can see, like, you probably can't see, and I look at the left-hand indicator on the passenger side. It's still going off.
That's a big fire, Alex.
Oh, it was massive, but that was only when it started. It went to the size of the house next to it, and the heat of the car blew the window out next to the house.
Were you nervous that house was going to go on fire?
So they've had to claim through my insurance, which I've never done before. I wasn't scared the house was going to go on fire, no, because it's made of stone. If it was made of wood or some other material, then I probably would have been a bit scared. But I'll send you the video as well of the aftermath of the car, which is like, I went by like a day later because they hadn't picked it up to go and see the wreckage.
Literally. I'm not sure it's that repairable.
Mad. So yeah. I rang the insurance company while it was on fire, and they were adamant they were going to send 2 engineers out to see if it was salvageable or not. And I was like, it's literally on fire in front of me. It's not salvageable.
Just don't waste your time.
And then they rang me back a day later to try and organize a tow truck. And they were asking me, like, is the vehicle intact? Is it towable? Does it have wheels? And like, none of those things, no. So they had to rearrange like an alternative way of getting rid of the car because they couldn't tow it onto the back of a truck. They had to literally crane it on to the back of something because it's a heavy vehicle. I think it's like 3 point how many tons?
But 3 tons, but basically just a big lump of metal.
Oh yeah, like molten metal that just melted to the floor.
So really what you were left with, Alex, from what I can see is I think 2 rear taillights was your kind of what was left.
Yeah, they were the only salvageable bits you got to sell anything off it. 100%, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Now, the good news is you are going to buy another one.
Do you know what? Well, I've been speaking to people around here. They've been asking, what you're going to get? You're going to get another, you'd be stupid to get another. Range Rovers cars aren't just supposed to be spontaneous combust, but mine did. But like you told me, and like the guy that I bought my car off, once you've driven one of them, there isn't any other car like it.
No.
So that still leads me to believe I want another one. But I have been looking at some others, which probably aren't really up your street, are they? I mean, Peter's obsessed about originality and like keeping things super.
Let
original.
us know in the comments. But yes, I'm originality. Alex is more like,
well,
I will never take this off road. Like, I will not do it. No, I get him off road yet. No, it's not that he doesn't want to. Like, it's not that he doesn't want to take the car off road. He's like, I can't see the point. Is that it?
It doesn't appeal to me. Like, I just doesn't. Like, I mean, there was a car there that I showed you that had like I don't even know if it was a body kit on it or not, but it was like a little bit bigger than an L322 that I had. And Peter was like, "That's not an original grill, that."
A non-original bumper either. I was like, no.
I'm like, it looks amazing though. Like, I'm fine with that.
I think with these things, Alex, it's like there's just 2 schools of thought. Some people love the customization and kind of changing, whereas other people like me are very much like, no, completely standard. Like, do not change.
I think there's another camp of person in the middle of that. Like, that's where I sit, because some of the Range Rovers I think are absolutely hideous. Ones where people have legitimately made them look horrendous and like sprayed them different colors, put 2 bigger wheels on. Like, there's a Range Rover I've been looking at on the internet, and it's not standard. Like, it's an L322. It's got It's not like my L322 that just burnt to the ground, but
Oh, well, there's
they've
nothing like
put
that.
23. They've put 23-inch wheels on it, which to me I think is stupid. I had the original wheels on, which I think are 19-inch today.
20, I'd say with yours, but it could be 19.
Even 19 or 20 anyway. And the guy said, and if you go any bigger than that, the ride starts to become like compromised. So I said, oh, well, I don't like these massive wheels on. I think they look just ridiculous. Same with all the newer Range Rover Sports. Like I think they look but ugly. The L322 is literally the best shaped car. Other than the Skyline that I want, the R34 GTR, which I will have. That's the perfect shaped car. But then the L322 in terms of like 4x4, that is the best shape. No, hands down.
And it's hard to believe that design it's over 20 years old now.
They don't make them like they used to. I mean, all these new Evokes and stuff, I think look absolutely. Even the new Discoveries, I think look but ugly.
They're not as like they're grand, but they don't
They're
have
not a Range Rover.
something.
They've lost. They're not a Range Rover anymore. They're like something else. Like, yeah. I mean, I do like my cars to look nice. Like that's why I love the black color. All the writing on my car was black. Like Range Rover was all blacked out and stuff. I like that. But when you start putting massive wheels on it and stuff, or like, I think you run that very fine line of going towards this style that I'm not a big fan of anyway.
Here's a big analogy, right? So Alex, you're big into mountain biking, right? It's like having a mountain bike with flat tires.
Kind of, yeah.
It just doesn't like you just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you're about pure originality. I mean, I do like original shapes and stuff and try and keep it as original as possible. Like that Skyline I want to buy one completely original, which is proving quite hard to do because there's a lot of people who take them and they mod them. But these are the same. I mean, there are still if I go into Auto Trader, which I've been looking at, and Facebook Marketplace and eBay and stuff, there are a fair few that are still around that are to what I want. They're all black. Ideally black interior as well, and they haven't really been touched too much. Like they look in really good condition, good mileage, like really been really well looked after. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for, I think.
Okay, crazy. Well, do you know what? We'll leave it there. If you guys have any comments on what we've discussed, put it down below in the comments. We'd love to see it. And Alex, happy hunting for your next Range Rover. We'll definitely get it back on the channel when you do get it.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Take care, folks.